My parents demanded I apologize to my brother for embarrassing him. I replied, I will. Then I took out a full-page ad in the local paper with a public apology detailing exactly what he did and why I was sorry he got caught. His boss fired him the next day. You know, in every family, everyone has a role. Well, I'm the responsible one. Always have been. The quiet one. The one who cleans up everyone else's messes. For context, I'm 32 male. And then there's my brother Sean. He's 29, and he's the charismatic one, the golden child, the one who can do no wrong, even when he does. Our parents, they've always enabled him, making excuses, bailing him out, and always expecting me to be the bigger person, to just let it go. And I have, more times than I can count, for the sake of peace. But this time was different. It started with my grandfather's watch. And this wasn't just any watch. It was a 1968 Omega Speedmaster. The same kind the Apollo astronauts wore. My grandpa was an aerospace engineer, and that watch was his pride and joy. He left it to me. Not because he loved me more, but in his own words he said, "You're the only one who'll understand what it represents." He knew I'd cherish it. Not for the money, but for the history ticking inside of it. 2 months ago, it vanished from my apartment. My building is secure, no break-in. The only person with a spare key was Sean. He'd needed a place to crash for a few weeks, and of course I said yes. I'm the responsible brother, right? When I realized it was gone, just this cold dread washed over me. I tore my apartment apart, searched everywhere. Then I called him. "Hey, man, you haven't seen my grandfather's watch, have you?" "The old silver one?" "Nah, why?" He sounded so bored. "It's missing. I can't find it anywhere." "That sucks. You probably just misplaced it. You're always losing stuff." "I'm not. I'm meticulous. I knew exactly where it was supposed to be, in its mahogany box on my dresser. A box that was now empty. The conversation was a dead end. He just played dumb, and what could I do? I had no proof. Just this gnawing suspicion in my gut. For weeks I did nothing. I just hoped. Hoped his conscience would kick in and the watch would just reappear. It didn't. The proof came in the most cliché way possible. Social media. A friend of his posts a photo from a boys' trip to Vegas. And there's Sean, grinning like an idiot, champagne in one hand, and on his wrist, a flash of silver. A very, very familiar watch. My blood ran cold. I zoomed in, no doubt. It was my grandfather's Omega. I didn't scream, I didn't rage call him. I just saved the photo, took a screenshot. And then I started digging. Found the website for a high-end pawn shop, and I checked it every single morning. A week later, there it was, vintage 1968 Omega Speedmaster. Asking price, $5,000. A fraction of its worth, but a hell of a lot of cash for my brother. My next call was to the police. I filed a report for stolen property. I gave them everything, the photo, the pawn shop listing, the serial number. The officer was polite, but you could tell he was thinking, great, a family squabble. But he took the report. He gave me a case number. That's all I needed. Then I called my parents. I laid it all out. Calmly, logically. The watch, the key, the Vegas trip, the pawn ticket. I sent them the proof. I thought, this is it. This is the time they'll finally see him for who he is. Instead, I got a masterclass in gaslighting. "Are you sure you didn't just lend it to him, honey?" my mother asked. "You know how Sean is, he probably forgot to ask." "He pawned it, Mom, for Vegas." "Well, boys will be boys," my father jumped in. "It's just a watch." "It was Grandpa's watch. And Sean is your brother. Family is more important than things." It just went downhill from there. I was jealous. I was trying to cause trouble. By the end of the call, I wasn't the victim anymore. I was the villain. The final straw came a week later. A call from Sean. And he was furious. The cops had paid him a visit. "What the hell did you do? You called the cops on me, your own brother?" "You stole from me, Sean." "I borrowed it. I was going to get it back. You've completely screwed me. My boss saw the police report. This could ruin my job." See, Sean worked in wealth management, a boutique firm where integrity is everything. An employee being investigated for theft? Not a good look. And then, of course, came the call from my parents. A united front, as always. They demanded I withdraw the report. They said I had embarrassed the family, and they said I needed to apologize to Sean for the humiliation I had caused him. "You need to make this right," my father said. "You will call your brother, and you will apologize." I was quiet for a long moment. I could hear my mother whispering in the background, "Be firm. And in that moment, something inside me just snapped. Not with heat, with a cold, crystal clarity. "You're right," I said, my voice perfectly even. "I will apologize." I heard my father sigh with relief. "Good. It's the right thing to do." "I'll make a public apology," I said. "I want there to be no misunderstanding about how sorry I am." They loved that. They thought I was finally playing by their rules. They had no idea what I was about to do. Update 1. So, a public apology was promised. My parents probably pictured a sappy Facebook post. They really should have known me better. A full-page ad in the big city paper? Too expensive, and their lawyers would kill it. No, that wasn't the smart play. Sean's firm wasn't downtown. It was in Northgate, an affluent suburb where all the partners live and play golf. And communities like that have their own local papers. The little weekly ones that everyone actually reads. I called the Northgate Weekly. The ad rep, a guy named Terry, sounded like he'd been doing this forever. I told him what I wanted. A full-page public apology? That's unusual, sir. I can pay for it today, in full, plus a 20% premium for the unusual content. That got his attention. I emailed him the copy. He called back, sounding nervous. "Look up. Our lawyer would have a fit," naming the firm, the person. "Every statement in that text is factually accurate," I told him. "There is an active police investigation. Here's the case number. You can verify it. I'm not alleging anything, I'm simply apologizing. And I didn't write this thing in a rage. No, I drafted it, like a legal document, cold, factual. Every single word was chosen for maximum impact." Terry was quiet for a long time. I could almost hear the gears turning. "You'd need to sign a waiver," he finally said. "Email it to me." The ad ran that Thursday. Dropped on every manicured lawn in Northgate. The headline, in huge bold letters, "A public apology to my brother, Sean." And underneath, "I would like to publicly apologize to my brother, Sean. Recently, I filed a police report after a cherished family heirloom was stolen from my home. I now understand this action caused my brother significant embarrassment, and for that, I am truly sorry. I am sorry that when you, my brother, used the key I gave you in good faith, you felt the need to take something that did not belong to you. I am sorry that you valued a weekend in Las Vegas more than a piece of our grandfather's legacy. I am sorry you were photographed wearing the stolen watch, creating irrefutable evidence. I am sorry you pawned this irreplaceable heirloom for a fraction of its value. And finally, I am sorry you were not clever enough to cover your tracks. I am sorry my decision to involve the authorities has threatened your position at Sean's firm name. It was never my intention to expose the fact that a man tasked with managing the wealth of others cannot be trusted with a single possession of his own brother. I deeply regret the consequences. I hope this apology makes my position clear." Signed with my full name. The fallout was immediate. My mother's call was first, just incoherent shrieking. I set the phone down, waited for it to stop, and then said, "I told you I was going to apologize," and hung up. My father was next. Cold fury. "You've ruined him. You've ruined this family." "Sean's actions did this," I said flatly. "I just paid to tell the truth in a format you suggested. You're out. You are no longer my son." Okay. A quiet, almost pained delivery. I hung up. That one hurt, a dull ache. Then, the call I was waiting for, blocked number. It was Sean, and he wasn't yelling, he was whispering, a choked, panicked whisper. They fired me. My boss's wife saw the paper this morning. He said I was a liability. He told me to clear out my desk. It's over. It's all gone. I just listened. "Why?" he whispered. "Why would you do this to me?" "You asked for an apology," I said, "so I gave you one." I hung up. That night I got a voicemail from my Aunt Hannah. She wasn't angry. She just sounded so sad. "I don't know the whole story," she said, "but your mother is heartbroken. I hope it was worth it." And for the first time I wondered, was it? Update 2. The quiet didn't last. It was replaced by the grinding gears of the legal system and the profound awkwardness of being a family pariah. Sean pleaded not guilty. His story? I'd lent him the watch. He had an unexpected emergency in Vegas and had to pawn it, but he was totally going to get it back. He was painting me as the unstable one. It was bold. And my parents, they were funding it. They took out a second mortgage on their house, the house they were supposed to leave to both of us, all to pay for his high-priced lawyer. The full weight of it hit me at a cousin's wedding. I was basically a ghost. People I grew up with would see me coming and just turn away. My parents and Sean were there, of course, holding court, playing the victims. But the most surreal part, that came at the reception. My mother came up to me at the bar. She looked exhausted. "I hope you're happy," she spat, her voice low and full of venom. "I'm not unhappy. Your father can't sleep. Your brother's life is in ruins, all because you couldn't let go of a stupid object. It was Grandpa's. It's a thing. Sean is your blood." Her voice started to crack. "He told us you were always jealous. I see it now. You were just waiting to tear him down." I just stared at her. It was like listening to a stranger. "He stole from me, Mom. He lied, and you're mortgaging your future to help him lie better. Who's tearing down the family here?" She flinched. And before she could say another word, Sean was there, wrapping a protective arm around her. And he looks me right in the eye, and he smirks. Just this tiny little twitch at the corner of his mouth. But it said everything. It said, "See? They'll always choose me." "Come on, Mom," he said, all fake concern. "Let's not waste our time on him." And he led her away. That smirk, that did more damage than all the shouting. It confirmed everything. He wasn't just a screw-up. He was a manipulator. And this wasn't some clean victory for me anymore. This was a miserable, grinding war. Final update. The pre-trial hearing was a joke. Sean's expensive lawyer tried to get the case thrown out. The judge, this no-nonsense woman, was not having it. She looked at the evidence and set a trial date. That's when Sean's nerve broke. His lawyer must have told him, "You lie on that stand, you could go to jail." A week before the trial, the DA called. Sean took a plea bargain. No contest to misdemeanor theft. 2 years probation, mandatory counseling, and he had to pay me restitution. No jail time. And the watch was returned to me. I picked it up from the station a few days later. They handed it to me in a plastic evidence bag. It just felt cold. Tainted. I took it home, put it in its box. I haven't worn it since. I saw them one last time 6 months later. I had to get some old stuff from their attic. My Aunt Hannah, the family peacemaker, set it up. "They go grocery shopping at 2 p.m. on Saturdays," she'd said. "You'll have the place to yourself." Famous last words. I was hauling a box downstairs when the front door opened. They were home early. We all just froze. The house felt hollowed out. You could see the financial strain on their faces. "Are you happy now?" my father asked. His voice wasn't angry anymore, just empty. "It was never about being happy," I said quietly. "It was about what was right." "Your brother is a bartender now," my mother said, her voice flat. "He lives in a tiny apartment." "You did that. He did that," I said, but the words had no force. Then Sean came down the stairs, and he just looked smaller. The swagger was gone. He looked like a tired man in his late 20s. He met my eyes for a second, and I saw something that wasn't defiance. Maybe it was shame, maybe just exhaustion. He didn't say a word, just walked past us into the kitchen. I grabbed my boxes, and I left. That was a year ago. I haven't spoken to them since. My Aunt Hannah gives me updates sometimes. Sean's still bartending, still going to counseling. My parents are still struggling with the debt. And me? My life is quiet. I have my job, my apartment, I have the watch sitting in its box. So I won. I guess. I used logic and truth and I won. Sean faced consequences, but the win feels hollow. There was no big moment of catharsis. No credits rolling. I didn't get my family back. I didn't even get a real apology. I just ended it. I lost my brother, my parents, or maybe I never really had them to begin with. Maybe I was just their responsible one, and that role was only convenient until I refused to play it anymore. Sometimes late at night, I'll take out the watch. I'll wind it and listen to it tick. A steady, mechanical, logical sound. It reminds me that some things like time just keep moving forward. But it doesn't feel like a trophy. It feels like a scar. It was just what had to be done, and now I have to live with the silence.